Life of Love with Julie Hilsen.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to Life of Love, where we gather in curiosity and joy to experience what life is giving us and how we can show up in our highest self, however it looks that day, whether it's a glossy, wonderful magazine cover day, or if it's I got to just get myself out of bed and do my best. And all of them are being held with the most grace and understanding and just support, because it's not easy. And you have to appreciate the days where you're resting and you're recouping as much as the days as you feel like you're being the rock star that you always want to show up as. But all are needed, and all the down days lead to the higher days. And well, I want to recognize that I haven't done an episode in like 3 weeks. So I apologize if people missed me. I definitely miss being on here, but I also, in that vein, I was taking a little break and following like this urge to just chill. And I started drawing and doing more right brain activities, getting out of my language center so much. And being a speech pathologist, I'm always using words and trying to communicate well. And sometimes I just want to shut it down. And that's what I did. So thank you for being here. I appreciate your ears and coming back, even though I took a break. You guys are always in my heart, and this community is so important to me. So thank you for being here. First and foremost, this is about the community. And so I'm just really excited to introduce our guest this week. And her name is Beth Mielbrecht. And she's coming here from Buffalo, New York. And I'd like to just start by saying hello and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Julie. I'm so happy to be here. This is a wonderful space that you've created.
Thank you. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is also create a more dynamic space and set our intention, and then we'll get started. So everyone hang in there. And what I do is I sort of get in my feet and sort of get in my heart and try to quiet all the noise. And if the listeners want to do this, you're welcome to. If you're driving, please stay aware of your surroundings, or, do this with discernment. And just getting into my body, my breath. And I'm going to set this intention. Dear God, Goddess, Creator, thank you for bringing us to this moment. Thank you for each set of ears listening and hearts tuning in to bring forth their highest good, to show up with a curious mind. I thank you for the resources that brought us together. I request the Holy Spirit to be here with us, to help us in clarity and understanding and compassion for ourselves and for our environment and for all the things we're navigating. Dear God and Holy Spirit and Mother Gaia, as we plan ourselves in this dear earth and use your resources, we're all collaborating here, and we're all supporting each other in ways that we have no idea. We have no idea how it's happening. We are tuning in to this frequency of love and compassion and Divine Mother. And so I invite my team to collaborate with Beth's team as they see fit and easy. And I ask our teams to help us create this episode for the highest good and for the light of all. And it's sparkly and wonderful. I see the colors coming together, and I thank you, as I always adore this time and this creation. And I thank you for this container. And I honor Beth's journey as she openly shares with her heart and her energy such beautiful things. And so it is. Thank you. This is so fun, Beth. Thank you for saying yes to Life of Love and reaching out. I'm really excited to share your story and your journey and what you're doing. So again, I appreciate you.
My pleasure. This is perfect. This is the best introduction. I feel so great. I feel wonderful. We should meet every day, Julie, so we can start our day this way.
I love it. Hey, why not? Set your life up for the highest good and just see how the stars fall. I do miss, I've reminded myself that my angels were close today. And I haven't done that in a little while. I've been concentrating more on God's light. I don't know if you know the phrase a nour. It's Arabic for God's light, a noor. And I've been saying that a lot. I've been asking for God's light, but in the same respect, I haven't really been saying, angels, I invite you in too. And I think they missed me acknowledging them directly. And I know that they're part of God's team and they all work together, but there's something about the angel guides that they want to have recognition and they want to be invited in because that gives them more authority to or liberty, I guess, to help and give us messages. If I don't know about you if you get messages, but mine aren't like loud in my ear. It's this subtle feeling that I'm like, oh yeah, the angels, that's the angels. And I can tell because it's like, it's very lovely. And it's also like when Jesus reaches out, it's very lovely. And Mother Mary, it's just a lovely sentiment. So I don't know. I guess I want to remind everyone to ask your angels to be a part of your life. It's really not a big deal, but it's not a big deal to do, but it's a big deal to them and into your life because what does it even hurt? It doesn't hurt anybody to say, "Angels, help me have a better day." Like what I guess it's a weird thing to say out loud, but hey, it's your
Say it in
life.
your
You
head
can claim
because,
it.
yes, because they need permission. They
They
need
need
us to,
permission.
they need us
Oh my gosh. Well,
to
that
acknowledge.
I cannot like glaze over your path and how you started with engineering. You've I've had a couple engineers on my show. I don't know if you realize this, but scientific minds can make this 360 where it's like, oh, there's other things besides what I can touch, feel, and measure. And I think that it'd be a really great intro to you for you to explain, you know, what was tugging on your soul to say, I'm going to look for something more. Was it motherhood? Was it your connection to Mother Gaia, or how did you reach this other dimension of your existence, and when did it happen? It's just I'm always curious about the transformation or the enlightenment or whatever people say ascension symptom. But how did you experience it?
Well, I actually would say I experience it as all the same thing. It's not a shift. It's not a leaving one and going to something else, a rising up or 180 degree. I understand energy from the mundane world-based electrical wiring in your house all the way through your aura and your energy field. They're actually the same thing. And I came to the more subtle energies through the birth of my son. So you're right, motherhood. There is always a portal. There is something that says, hello, there's more. And I experienced that as there's more than what I can see and measure right now. I don't look at it as a change. I just look at, like, people say, how I get that question all the time. How did you change from one thing to the other? I'm like, no, I am still fully a mechanical engineer. I have an engineering brain, and I am also someone who is very proficient and understanding with the energies of the world. So that story is I've been a mechanical engineer for 35 years. My dad's an engineer. That's how I became acquainted with like the cool things. So if you don't know, a mechanical engineer we are the ones who do the hands-on tangible things. We build the cars, we make sure that the heating in your building works, your air conditioning. We're going to find a problem and build something tangible with our hands. No like invisible things, no thought processes. We like just thought experiments. We need to do something that way. I am a problem solver. When I see a problem, I build something and solve it. And there's a real something there. So from mechanical engineering, super grounded, very practical, always aware of my body. And I did not know that most other people are not really aware of their bodies. And I was super aware of like what movement practices I liked, what foods were beneficial for me and not beneficial for me. Like, gosh, after one bite, I would say, that is not for me. Whereas other people might eat a whole plate and then the next say, I feel terrible. I got sick. I don't know why. No idea. Well, because they have no concept of like what they put in. I'm very sensitive to noises and things that I see, and that's all consumption. It's not just food. It's everything in our awareness. So motherhood, like it does for most women, cracks them open. And mine was in this experience. So imagine you are a new mother, and I have my infant my son is a few weeks old and he's finally asleep. And so I have him in my hands and I put him down in his crib and he's sleeping. And I think I am brilliant. He's sleeping. He's still sleeping. I can walk away now. So I walk away down the hallway with my hands up like this. And my hands are raised and I'm a few steps away out of the room. And there are steel cables in between my palms and his little body. Okay, what is going on? What's going on? And wouldn't you know it, when it is time to learn something, the universe brings it. And before I knew it, the little massage studio down the road hung up a sign that says, now offering Reiki. My husband's watching television and there's a show about energy healing, hands-on energy healing. And somebody else mentions it, like, all right, I'm going to go to a class. I'm going to learn this. And my son, like all of our children, are here to help us grow. And he was basically saying, Mom, you need to up level. You need to learn how to take care of me. And so I took care of my son with hands-on healing. And I became a Reiki master teacher. I only did a little bit of teaching because I really felt that the calling was to take care of my immediate family. It was not really to go forth and share this with the larger world. Of course I did, but that wasn't the primary goal. And that was beautiful. And what I say is as an engineer, I really love the structure of Reiki. It was downloaded, channeled by a Japanese man in the 90s. And there's structure and there's Japanese characters and there's a format and a framework. And that was so easy for me to get into and understand that. Now, if I do Reiki, there is no format. There is whatever my intuition tells me to do. But in the beginning, it was really helpful. So for everyone listening who says, that sounds interesting, everyone can do hands-on healing. Every culture in the world has it. You do it naturally to yourself, to your children. You hold your stomach, you put your hand on your forehead, you put your hand on your heart. You already do it. And if you would like a framework, there's many schools and you can pick a framework that will get you there, but then you'll leave it behind because it's just the first rung of the ladder. And so that's what Reiki was for me. And then after that was homeopathy. And then that was a brilliant way of balancing out, seeing the electricity and energy in the physical world with feeling it and knowing it and seeing the results of working with it in the subtle realms. And it's all electromagnetism. And once you start, you'll see it everywhere.
There's so many gems there. I'm just like, but I want to reel it in a little, because what's your interpretation of the steel beams? That
The steel, like cables?
that visual. Yeah, the cables that you saw when you were walking away. And I've been, it's like, finally they're asleep and I'm just going to go, I'm sneaking away. Like I can picture myself, and that they finally, they're fed, they're dry, they're sleeping. You're like, okay, I can just go shut my eyes. Or you're just like, stay, don't wake up. Everybody who's been a mom has done this, but you saw a visual connection of, what's your interpretation of what that was?
That's so interesting. No one's ever asked me that before. And it has always clearly been steel cables. Like it has never wavered. It has always been steel cables. Like if you see a suspension bridge and you see all those many strands of coil, so
they're
that
woven.
means the bond between mother and child is really strong. Strong as a steel cable. So it holds up a bridge. And also it was strong enough to get my attention that I wasn't just imagining things. It was so strong that I couldn't ignore it. And I mean, even in that moment, it was the imagery and words of steel cables that I know what a steel cable is. I can calculate the tensile strength of a steel cable. I know what that represents. So that was a phrase and an image that connected with something I knew, so that maybe if this happened to somebody else, there would be a different image and a different phrase. But steel cable meant this is powerful. It's incredibly strong. You need to use it and know it, and you have it with your son. And also that there was something that it was also it's a part of my son and it's a part of me. And so it's not like there's only a connection, that I have this here as well. So that's what I would say steel cables means.
I love it. And the other thing that just really sparked in me, I total chills. You're telling me this. You're telling me your story, and I'm just like, oh. But the way you're honoring the parts of your life. I mean, you worked really hard to be an engineer. It's part of who you are, and you're like, I'm using my engineering skills to be the best mom. And as you go through these paths, or these check marks, or these benchmarks, I want to say, you realize what in the past supports you to be in this moment. And it never, my son's 22, he just graduated from college, and I was like, you have no idea how these things are all going to fit together. It's so exciting. It's so exciting for me to watch, from the moment he first started playing with toys, and how he played with toys, and his choices that he's made, and choices I'm like, what is he thinking? Like, and you're like, but you just love him. And like you said, you have this bond, and can't break that bond. So just giving other mothers that visual, that's a gift. So I hope any other moms that are listening realize that they're bridges of love for their children. And even if it's hard to love that child, sometimes it's hard to love them when they do things, or they take you for granted, or things aren't like perfect, and they're never perfect. But there's moments where you might feel like you're not there for them the way you could be when you were giving them baths, or reading them books, and holding them, like you wish you could be there for them like that again. But there's beauty and wisdom in each step. So that's Beth, what really tugged my heart about your work is the deep listening that you've shown people how to do, and that you're a part of, and it's listening to yourself. So can you share some of the breakthroughs that you've helped people gain by, you have that quiz on your website, so that guides people through different situations. What have you seen when people start to just really listen to what their bodies are saying, and how they're responding to the environment, or different things? What have you seen people, like the biggest changes, or maybe just like tweaks that are life impacting? Like, what's coming to your mind when you think about people really tuning into themselves?
So people make and have the capacity to make amazing, enormous changes when they get back into alignment, both physically and emotionally. So the clients who have had these transformations that I'll mention, they didn't just take a supplement. They didn't just have a green smoothie or cut out some carbs and all this happened. They shifted internally, got back into alignment. And once they were into alignment, everything was easier. The bad things fell away and the good things dropped in. I am not kidding. This is how it works. So when we work together, I use all of my skills. I use my skills from Reiki. I use my skills as a homeopath. I use my skills in bioenergetic testing, and in health coaching, and in listening. And what happens is that we work on making sure there's good nutrition. Sometimes people are eating healthy, but there are still can be some deficiencies, because our bodies can sometimes not process things the way they want to. There can be blockages. So we work on nutrients, work on environmental toxins. The world is not as lovely as it used to be. And so there's pollutants in the air and the water, on our foods. And so those create blockages in the body, and our body stores them up to protect us from them. And so those need to be helped as well. And then the last is elimination. Like, are we getting the waste out? It's good to put the nutrition in, but we have to get the waste out. And then finally, there's emotion. So it's support for your emotions, where you are right now, the stress that you're aware about, the grief that you're aware about, whatever, we have this certain level of things that we are aware about, but then there's trapped emotions that we're holding on to deep in our heart. And life moves so, so fast. We never have enough time to process. So among those 4 areas, when those are supported and your body starts rebalancing, unblocking, those things start moving, things happen. So what are some of the things that have happened? 2 clients left, got new jobs. Their old jobs, like, were like, I can't do this anymore. New jobs, like, without really even trying, fell into place. One woman was in a very toxic relationship, didn't know how she was going to get out because that's all she had known. There was a lot of attachment, even though she knew it wasn't good for her. That fell apart. He left, and she ended up going on a trip and was the most magnetic person everywhere she went, on the airplane, in the restaurant, at the event. People coming up to her telling her, I'm so glad we met. You are beautiful. Well, like, all the compliments that she never got just were flooding into her from this new work trip, from the new job. It was just amazing. So other things that happen is when your nutrients are balanced, the toxins aren't clogging up the works, and the lymph and the liver, the elimination system is working. I have a client who was able to start dancing again. She was a nurse, and a lot of stress being a nurse in a hospital. And she did professional ballroom dancing. Well, amateur, but really the whole sequin dress, the spinning around, being lifted up in the air, like the whole works. And she had to stop because her body was being crippled by pain. We worked together. When the body opens up, things are in alignment. She was able to dance again. So simple things like that, plus many other stories of normal aches and pains or lightnesses, but just whatever happens to people are unique to you. And I love sharing those stories, but everyone has their own story of healing.
Yeah, and we were talking in the pre-interview about this innate sense of you know what needs to change, but like you addressed, things happen so fast, and we have priorities and distractions, and it might be just like this little, your stomach just doesn't feel right when certain things are talked about, or you notice your palms are sweating. Your body is sending these micro messages. Headaches don't just come out of nowhere. I mean, you're you could be dehydrated, could be the basic of that. But what led you to be dehydrated? You weren't listening to your signs, you weren't feeling your mouth, or by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. I mean, if these headaches are coming up, it's blocked stress, and like you're good at finding out like the areas that the blockages happen, and you help people like tune into these things. I'll develop like itching. And we were going to talk about this because, hormone changes, perimenopause, I'm going through that. It's just like, what is going on? Like, things that I've had the same hairdresser for 10 years, and she's used the same color line for 10 years. And the last time she colored my hair, I'd always have a little itching around my scalp, but I had to get up in the middle of the night and take a shower. And it was just, oh my gosh, I was just, and the thing is, I felt like I needed to change what I was doing, but I didn't. There's levels to this because I really explored it. I've known my hairdresser for over 10 years. We have a special bond, and I don't want to disappoint her or not show up. And she's explained to me several times, if everyone stops coloring their hair, my business is going to be in trouble. So I know she relies on that process for her livelihood. And so I want to take care of her because I love her, but And I knew that the hair color was affecting me a little, but this last time I couldn't ignore it. Like my body's like, Julie. And then the other thing is when I go there, it's like 4 hours and I'm feeling like I need to spend my time differently. Like I don't have that 4 hours anymore. I used to need it when the boys were little and I just needed a good block of time just to like get away. That was sort of my time. But now I get blocks of time by myself all the time because I'm an empty nester. So, it's my energy level. I can't sit there for 4 hours. I'm working out now more. I'm lifting weights. I need to get my protein in. Like there's all these things that are happening that this 4 hours sitting in the chair, my scalp just caught on fire. And it was like, this has got to change. And you've got to just tell her that you're a cut and style girl now, not a color. It's not the full package anymore. But I was anxious about doing that because I knew she relied on me. And I don't want to, I don't like to let people down. And I don't have a lot of people in my life that I've known for that long, that I'm that close with. Because as my life transitions, I have friendships that sort of like aren't as fulfilling for each person. So we sort of just see each other, but we're not that close. And so you value that one-on-one time with somebody. But I just wanted to explore that with you because you said you had a thing with your hair color. And, it seems like a simple thing, like it's your hair color, but there's so many layers when you get down to it. At least for me, and maybe I'm just like crazy, but what are your thoughts on that whole transition and in your body and when it tells you things that you might not be ready to hear?
There is a whole thing, and I'm glad you're listening to your body. And part of this change is finding out what we want and letting go of the things that don't. And so needing to support someone, well, our hair is going to keep growing, so you'll always need a haircut, but
Yeah.
but it might look different. And she could learn new techniques. She could become proficient in henna, or like she can
Mhm.
grow as well. It's not just totally up to you to
I love
support her.
that.
Yeah,
I love
you could say,
that.
I if I want to continue this, it needs to be in a different way. Can you go? Maybe she'll seek out different training or certification or a different product line. But you're right. I do have a story about my hair. I actually decided to write a newsletter, and it's as a blog post on my website, but it's about the cover up. And it was about, I felt like I had been covering up a part of my life, and I literally had. And it was about my hair color because I started going gray in my early to mid 20s. And as a 23, 24, 25-year-old, 26, 27, gray hair is not that cool. It is not. And especially when there's just lots of gray. And this wasn't one or two strands. This was just a lot. So I really enjoyed the whole salon process as a
Mhm.
young person. I have always enjoyed the different colors. My natural color was a brunette with red. So in the fall, I would have more red. In the spring, it would take some of the red out. Like I would have blonde streaks. I never really had blonde, but I enjoyed all of it. And then I find hair to be a fun method of expression. So I was great with, hey, you want to try a new hairstyle? I'm the one to do it. And so they would try new hairstyles on me, and it was just really a lot of fun. And so it got to the point, though, where I was in my fees and then fees, and I kept, instead of going to the salon every 6 weeks, then it was 5 weeks, and then it was 4 weeks. And then at 4 weeks, she said, well, you could come back in 3 weeks because you need a touch up in the front. So on video, you can see that my hair is like white, white, white right here in the front.
Mhm. It's just
And
stunning though. I love
it
I
did
love
not
the
feel
color.
stunning. It felt like, what is going on? Why
Yeah.
can't even the strongest hair color of the best brand in the world color my hair? And I finally got to the point where I needed to know what was underneath. I needed to see it. Why is this so hard to color? What is underneath? So as I told you, I'm really comfortable with having my hair cut. It just grows back. I never cry. I'm not somebody who's afraid to get their hair cut. So I've had my hair short a couple times in my life. I love it. It's so dramatic and I think it looks good on me. It's fun. I kind of like it a little longer. So what I did was I had hair longer than it is now. So it was below my shoulders. And what I did was I cut it off. Well, I didn't do it. The hairdresser cut it off above my ears, and then I stopped coloring it. So it was so interesting. As it grew out, it was half white, silver, gray, and half the old hair color. I mean, for a couple months there, it was not very attractive, but I just kept
You're
keeping
like
it short
almost like a
until
skunk, right? You're like,
it was crazy. And,
yeah.
and just seeing, and then once it started growing in, I thought, my gosh, that's beautiful. I had no idea that's what was underneath. So it grew out, and then I had short gray, white, silver hair. And then I eventually let it grow out longer, all one color. I'm a firm believer professionally to always have an up-to-date headshot. So every, say, 2 years, I would have a new headshot. As an engineer, if someone got on a meeting with me, I mean, even for company websites, things like that, like it should look at me. If you see that picture and you see me in person, it should look the same. We don't need the old, younger version of me. So when I updated that picture to be me with gray hair, and I showed up on client meetings as an engineer, can I tell you the respect, the years of wisdom that I've always had? But because of my baby face, it didn't come through. So now here I am, like, no, I am worth all of these years of experience. I am not the secretary. I am not the note taker. I'm not the assistant. I'm leading this, and I owned it, and it felt so good. So that's been my journey with uncovering it. And every woman goes through it differently. And I've had people say, well, my gray won't look like yours, or it looks messier than yours. You never know until you find out. And that when the time is right, you will find the right way to do it. But it probably will go better than expected. That's my story. It went better than expected. It was amazing. And now I love my hair color.
That's a great lesson in surrender. I mean, I can't think of a better metaphor for surrender, honestly. I mean, it was begging to be revealed, like, no, I'm here. I'm here. This is your empowerment. And, the Native Americans believed in that spiritual power of your hair. And, and I never can discount knowledge that comes from other cultures or, insights from people who are more or cultures that are more tied to the ebbs and flows of nature and Mother Gaia. There's powerful messages in that. There's a reason why we're obsessed with our hair. Oh, I love that. That's such a good story. I'm glad that came through for us. It gives me I did a shampoo in. I was telling you yesterday, I was like, because I'm supposed to see her in a week. And I thought, if I give her a week to find someone else, like if my time's going to be half there, she can find someone else to fill in and I won't take away her time, because if she books me for 4 hours for my full treatment. So I was like, I'm going to try this shampoo. It's more of a natural henna based pump, and you sort of mix it on your hand and sort of rub it in. And I was like, I'm going to try this. If I screw it up, she can fix it and she'll make fun of me. But I sort of liked how it turned out. So I texted her. I said, hey, is it okay if we just do a cut and style? Obviously it's okay, but I know she's sensitive about the whole thing. And I respect her. I respect her emotions and her energy, what she has to take care of as she's a single mom. And, it's part of me standing up for my divinity is claiming this time that I need more for myself, of doing things to make me happy instead of, sitting in a salon chair for 4 hours. It used to be fine because I never got to sit down. Now I'm like, I got to keep moving or else this menopausal weight is going to just sock me down. Like I don't have time. I got to keep moving. I got to get my protein and my steps in and I got to lift my weights. And I can tell you, I mean, you guys, if you haven't done weight training on a consistent basis, you got to give it a shot with somebody that can really help, because I noticed like the alignment of my neck since I started lifting weights. I've gotten I feel taller, and I've actually felt like my bones sort of align better. It's like I'll feel like a little and I don't go to a chiropractor or anything. It's just like I'll just be in my world, and all of a sudden it's like a little crick in my neck that just gets released. And I think it's because I'm supporting my body better with my resistance training. It's showing, like you said, all these things contribute to your best self, and and the signs my body was saying, hey, you're getting thick around the middle. I was like, well, I got to make a change. It wasn't body shame. It was like, no, I'm not going through this like this. I'm not going to keep buying bigger pants, right?
Yes, yes. That's the good purpose for it.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're coming up on our, well, no, yeah, we are coming up on our time.
Yes, there's more to talk about. There absolutely is. Yes, more
Well,
about living a life of
figure
love.
that. Yes. Well, so everybody we're reminding you to live the life of your dreams every day. Like, claim it, like decide what that is, and just go after it, because it's not going to come to you. Like Beth says, it's all magnetic. You need to be a receptor for it. So Beth, thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
My pleasure, Julie. I enjoyed it so much.
And I'll put a link to your website for people to check out your work and get to know you better on there. It's a beautiful site.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.